Good morning, Jeremy. We're down here today with a 340i with the newer B58 engine. It's got a lot more plastic cooling system components. You can see we have the intake manifold off to access them. Could you tell me more?
Yep. This car came here about 5,000 miles ago, and the upper radiator hose was really brown. And the brown, when these black plastic components turn brown, to me that's an indicator that the plastic is getting ready to fail. We sold replacing that hose, which requires you to pull the intake to get to here. They put a black plastic flange, this thing actually, it came off this car, right there, and all the heat of the coolant coming right out of the engine goes through this plastic and ages it. So we tend to be really aggressive about replacing these parts ahead of time because they will crack and fail underneath the intake. We ended up replacing the heat management module, the thermostat module basically under here, and now 5,000 miles later it's leaking coolant from the oil filter housing. They made it out of the same plastic, and the oil filter housing has hot oil and coolant going through it. This is the old one, and what typically happens is this passageway here. So this little bit here, the plastic broke, gasket tore, and it was pouring coolant out the top. There we are. This little bit right here split off, and I found it sitting on the engine along with a bunch of coolant. We're finding these B-series motors are pretty reliable, but their cooling systems are very high maintenance because it's very hot and it's all plastic. I mean, I had a 7 Series come in for brakes recently, and I checked under the hood and found that same brown radiator hose. We removed the intake, checked the connector, and it almost looked as bad as this, just about a split. So if you have one of the newer BMWs with a B46, B58, most of what they're making nowadays, make sure it's being maintained by someone who knows to look for the coolant leaks. There are signs you can see early on: dried coolant, little drips, brown plastic, and if your car is getting looked at by someone who knows that stuff, he can save you from breakdowns ahead of time.
Awesome. Thank you, Jeremy.